What's up, you guys? So I want to make this video as short as possible. That way, for those of you that don't want to sit through the 10-minute director's preview, you can come here for quick and concise information. So at 208, they mentioned that there will be an endless world floor system.
T라는 뿌리에서 시작해서 사람들이 얽히고 설켜 스론이라는 꽃이 피는 것이 TL이 그리는 세계입니다. 월드는 게임의 가장 핵심적인 요소이자
meaning you can enter this dungeon, this endless world floor system. You can enter this dungeon through multiple entrances across the world, and there are multiple floors within this endless world in which inhabit multiple different levels of enemies. They did not explain what levels will be on which floor, which power rank, but they did explain that this system is designed to facilitate a community. Therefore, multiple different levels of players will be able to come into this endless dungeon and participate. They mentioned a living world with day and night cycles, and with these cycles come different changes in the environment and the mobs. In the night, the mobs seem to be harder, and there seem to be more mobs in certain locations. Therefore, players will have to plan what they want to perform or what content they want to do based upon the day and night cycles, which seems very interesting. However, I would like to see more information upon the different pros and cons on fighting mobs in the day and the night. At 520, they mentioned a weapon system, not a class system. So every player can play whatever weapon they want and change their class at will. This is awesome. However, with these type of combat systems, such as in RuneScape, such as in New World, such as in Skyrim, there typically becomes a meta, especially in New World, because in games like this, the second players figure out what's the most OP or what's the most powerful weapon in a certain situation, everyone's going to level that weapon and play that class in that situation. And that's where meta comes in. And that typically ends up being very, very bad for an MMO, which claims to be the most customizable or most unique form of a game. So I really want to see more information and more balancing based upon this, because that is somewhat concerning. At 618, they spoke about a PvP system, and it's event-based. Now, most of the world's going to be full of safe zones, which is good for PvEers, and then PvP is going to be event-based, based upon regional bosses or world bosses or raid bosses, as they phrase them, correct? Now, this seems very good. Seems kind of relevant to Eye of Team Monitor and Ion, because this was something very similar to what they did back then. It's very interesting. They also mentioned you being able to rank up through PvP in these events. I just hope there's a good balance of these PvE and PvP events or PvX events, because if there's not enough PvE, the PvE is going to die, and if there's not enough PvP, PvP players are going to get very antsy and go somewhere else whenever their PvP fix is over, right? And then at about 8, they mentioned that the game will be completely cross-platform between console, PC, and mobile. This is very, very concerning, because games that attempt to be cross-platform are failing because mobile games are not complex enough for PC players. The combat usually is very stiff and very simple. Take Tower of God, for example. The game was good fundamentally, but it was a mobile game, and mobile games just aren't complex enough for PC players' brain, right? It's too simple, man. So this is a huge concerning point of this game for me at this point, and I really hope that they cover more combat between or on the next preview, hopefully, please, because that is very concerning for many of us, guaranteed. That's the great part about it is, yeah, it's going to be available for multiple people on multiple platforms, but that availability just comes with a lot of dumbed down combat, a lot of dumbed down game concepts. At 844, they spoke about an AI rendering character design, which is groundbreaking technology, awesome, amazing. You can upload a photo, something sort of like Lensa, and the AI will design your character's face based upon that photo. What they didn't explain is the body and physique character design. They kind of just went over like a lot of facial structure design. Would like to see a lot more on that, but that still seems very good. And then the last promise that they had was that the game will run as smoothly as possible. We'll see about that. NCSoft is typically in their history very good with Ion and Blade and Soul and Guild Wars. Most of their games that they released were very optimized, so I do have good hopes for that promise. However, like I said, we just have to take it as it is, see where it goes. But yeah, that is what I got from the director's preview, and that like I said, I need more information on the combat, mostly in the way that skills and player interactions are going to function. You know, they did mention the GVG system as well, which is going to kind of go with the PVX manner. But again, if the combat is not interesting enough, none of that's going to matter. I just have to mention the fact that if we want raids, if we want massive like role playing ability, we can play Final Fantasy, or we can play World of Warcraft, games where raiding has been perfected to a T, right? So adding that into your game is not enough. If we want character customization and build optimization to match your build with other classes, a dual class system, then we can play Guild Wars 1, okay? So again, that's not enough. If we want amazing combat that's unmatched and has been unmatched for years, then we go play BDO. But if you can't combine these aspects and beat these games at what they're good at, then you're not going to take from their niche community. And the MMORPG community is, honestly, it's a very small community. The same people play the same MMORPGs and have been playing the same MMORPGs for years. I see the same people every time I hop into a new game. So that is my concern for Throne and Liberty. If you cannot beat these other giants at what they're good at, then this game is not going to last. Okay, so we need to see more at what Throne and Liberty is going to specialize in, because what I'm seeing in this director's preview is that you have a good game concept, but there's no specialization. There's no niche that you're going to cater to. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, you guys. Peace and love.